Since Blackfish, SeaWorld Entertainment has really put Pelton on in terms of new rides, especially in the roller coaster department. However, there's only other stuff we can do with these parks, so it's kind of, I think, harder with competition with what's nearby and who they worked with in the past, and I like to predict the future, so. What does due to what the now they call United Parks need, so let's talk about the day.
I'm Lindsay, you're watching History and Leisure. Be sure to follow on Instagram, Threads, Bluesky, History_Leisure, as well as a Substack and my second channel, History and Leisure Echoes, where I post copyright-free footage and bonus material.
Starting with my home park in the northern suburbs of Philadelphia, one I've wanted for the longest time is a suspended coaster to replace snuffy slides and use a little lake or a pond or whatever that's. Since Busch Gardens parks and now SeaWorld Sanitary have recently gotten B&M versions of these family inverts, it would only make sense to add another B&M into Philly's grasp, kind of finish off that skyline back there. There also hasn't been a wet slide edition since before Vapor Trail, and the last two wet improvements were spray ground areas with Count Splash Castle in 2009 and Burn Splash Shores about 10 years later, which were technically replacements. I also think they resurfaced a few slides in that backyard near Elmo's World a few years ago, which probably set the clock back. As for its sister park on the other coast, which has now gone seasonal, not even Halloween or very furry Christmas.
Oh my god, bro. Oh, hell no.
A second coaster on the hill, that'd be nice. Don't care what type be wooden or suspended. I also like checking out their bowl slide for some sort of expansion there, because that's a very relatively thrilling slide that still exists in this park. And also those slides are getting torn down now, so it would make sense to. Then again, there is that conservation nearby, so there's probably a lot of overflow parking there. Again, which is why I should add a bus. Seeing San Diego, the original SeaWorld Park, pretty landlocked and can really only add by taking away. However, I think they could still squeeze an SS Screaming Swing in the water without taking out much. That would be awesome. I can really see it now being like pushed out over Bush and basically feeling like you're over the water. Guess SeaWorld San Antonio kind of did that when they added theirs not too long ago. But they also have a kids coaster in storage, and they could potentially move their kennel and some backstage areas to add a third gate, Sesame Place San Antonio. They also removed the Sesame IP except for the parade from the park, which adds further credence. It would be very different from the other ones. It would be predominantly a dry park with possibly a clone of Burn or any Splashy Shores as a way to cool off for the littlest guests, and maybe add a King Slide package as phase 2. But this would mean they would need to build an ugly garage in the middle of the site in order to handle the capacity of 2 theme parks and a water park. More likely, they'd use the remaining land for a hotel, since there would be little change in parking needs. And in the meantime, how about a surf coaster? It would be the first stand-up coaster in Texas.
Oh my god, bro. Oh, hell no.
Florida bound now. SeaWorld's Orlando has quickly grown into the coaster capital of the region. However, the park could use another family coaster. How about an indoor coaster? Either give it special elements like Revolton or make it a spinner, although Cursor World being so close by might put a damper on that idea. Over to Busch Gardens, Tampa. Coomba is once given spared the axe. However, the axe would befall in Stanleyville Falls. I can see either something sort of Catapult Falls, where they just replace with a modern flume, or a Vekoma family launch coaster. While Tigers and Cheetah are on the tamer end for a launch coaster already, something better designed than Penguin Trek that fits the bill would be nice. But in the other Busch Gardens, I know a few rides were removed from like the Vinci sub area recently, I believe, and then Skip Pumping side the other end of that, so it kind of feels like we need a new country to replace San Marco. The shop parts I think would fit with being like an easy conversion to an Andalusia themed area versus Madrid, in my personal opinion, and then you could have done Pantheon attached to that, and then keep the square, it's kind of like part of it, do some flowers, and then just consider seeing Pompeii Festa Italia. I think they did do some work a few years ago there was a fire, or just make that, or read him kind of do its own thing. And there's no Greece themed area, so you can escape from Pompeii to Greece, and then San Marco into Lucia. But then you just build Pantheon, although I still like the idea of the bridge over the train into Festa Italia. In the meantime, I keep an eye on that old theater they used for Battle for Hire for a flying theater, since SeaWorld Orlando just got a flying theater. Although since Busch Gardens like adding some rides, I think they're due for a spinning coaster too. So that is my list. Again, these parks are really known for entertainment historically, so focus on entertainment as well. And it really was like one bigger, I think, the SNS Screaming Swing. Although there's definitely a lot of good like flat rides out there from Zempro that are good. Family editions that can better flash the lineups. Like Nebulous could really work with this sea life motif they have going on. Although I mean more like they might cause a little too technical or industrial for with the art traditionally, but well, I guess the Nebulous could fit well in the San Marco. I was mainly thinking that going in more of that steampunk direction would help distance themselves a bit more from the original vision for the park and go into a future with less animals, or at least in an entertainment vein. So until next time, not sure what I'm going to do just yet, but when I do, I hope you join me. Tell me, subscribe, and strike the bell.